What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I'm going to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about the economic calendar, what news just came out that's very important for the markets, what you should be watching for as we're seeing the market pump again during the pre-market, breaking the highs that we saw for many different stocks out there for the month of November. But before I break into detail all this information, before I talk about what this means for the markets and what I basically anticipate, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, let's talk about the markets, talk about what's going on thus far. So on SPY, for the pre-market, this thing is up to 0.47%. And one of the things I said in my videos is that there could be a fake pump coming. Now, I know my term is kind of colloquial, but I'm just saying that just so that it's very understandable. All right, the market could still pump higher, but I wouldn't necessarily trust the move it's making. I told you anywhere between 456 to 460 in my opinion. And this is not financial advice, but I saw this as like a really good shorting opportunity, a beautiful area to start shorting for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I believe that going thus far, this is panning out very nicely, and the divergences just continue to get stronger. So I personally think that this is a trap, and we're about to see a big pivot over the next couple of days. I'll be breaking down more information about that in just a few minutes. So right now, we just got the GDP numbers a few minutes ago. The GDP growth rate was 5.2% above the forecast. We're getting some strong numbers so far, and the market is once again liking this as the market's holding up. On top of this, we have the PCE estimates coming out. Now, moving forward, we have a couple of bill auctions coming out at 11:30 a.m. Then we just have a couple of Fed speakers. All of this is going to be very, very important for today. For tomorrow morning, we have PCE data coming out. We'll be watching to see what that causes. And then besides that, on Friday, we have the ISM manufacturing data and Jerome Powell's speech. Now, personally, I predict that this data from Friday at 10 a.m. is going to be the thing that causes the market to start shifting. I think this is going to be it alongside Jerome Powell's speech. But just to be safe, we'll wait and see. For now, the market's holding up. We'll be watching our next levels of resistance. For a couple of things to know about the markets, the rally is resuming. We're seeing the market pushing up, especially after some of the earnings that we got. We're continuing to see the bulls stepping in. They're not done quite yet. There's some very, very sad news that came out about Charlie Munger. Very, very sad to hear this. He almost turned 100 years old and he ended up passing away. So, very, very sad. He was very intelligent, an amazing investor, and an icon. And, it's very sad to hear news like this. So, I just want the best for him and his family. There's also this news right here about Disney. Once again, after thousands of job cuts, they basically told employees during the town hall that they're going to be once again addressing a lot of problems and they're going to continue to improve, especially after their theatrical flops. With that happening, hopefully Disney can improve, but they have to be listening to their audiences if they want to do so. And we know exactly what a lot of audiences are thinking. When it comes to GM, we're also seeing some new news about them trying to contend with new labor costs and etc. We're continuing to see deals being made between them and the unions. That's pretty much it for now. There's some news that Mark Cuban is selling a major stake in the Dallas Mavericks. That's interesting so far. We'll see if anything happens. But that's pretty much it for the main pieces of news affecting the markets. Now let's talk about the charts very quickly. Looking at SPY, we're currently at 457 at the time I'm recording this. We have a wick that's forming, so once again, we're in a topping process. Now, one thing I mentioned is that this red rectangle above here, right? This is going to be our liquidity zone, and this was forged back during the July period, almost around August. And around this high is where we have this tight resistance. We actually touched the zone today, and that tells me that, look, even though I'm not giving financial advice, okay, anywhere between where we are right now, 457 to 460, wherever we go for the next day, day and a half, that, is, in my opinion, is going to be a very, very good shorting opportunity. I think that the market's going to see some downside very, very soon. I think that when you look at the daily chart on SPY, let me just show you the daily. I'm thinking that 445 at the 20 EMA is where we're going to be retracing to at the very least. We also have a gap down here to fill at 440. This is a beautiful shorting opportunity. It's a blessing in disguise. And once again, I kind of like describe this as another fake pump that was coming. If you want to use that term, sure, but there it is. You guys could see it, right? We came up, we came back into our channel. We managed to break out, and we got this nice break to the upside on SPY. Once again, not saying that it's going to remain bullish forever. I think we're going to turn bearish soon, possibly starting on December 1st is when it's going to start. So for now, just be patient and just know that we could try to hold up for the time being. Watch 457.5 as critical resistance. If we break that, the next level is going to be 458. Then we could go a little higher. For support, make sure you watch 456.5. Right now, could this thing push a little bit more and hold up? Sure, it can. But like I said before, guys, I'm personally going to be opening a big short position. I already have a small one. I'm going to be opening more short positions for many weeks out, and I anticipate some downside starting in December. Not financial advice, by the way. On the QQQ, same thing. I was telling you guys yesterday we might see this thing retest 393. We're back at supply. Could go up a little higher. 394.17 is next, and 395. It's just another shorting opportunity. I don't trust this whatsoever. If I actually go back to the QQQ's chart on the 4-hour, you're going to notice something very interesting. The bearish divergences are still developing. We have more than a quadruple bearish divergence on the QQQ. SPY has a triple bearish divergence confirmed now. I think this is about to become a quadruple bearish divergence. I think this is actually a quadruple. We have a quadruple bearish divergence on SPY's RSI and a double on the MACD, suggesting that this is not a real rally that's going to last forever. It's not sustainable. Basically, it's going to come back down probably within a couple of trading days. All right. Now looking at Tesla, I'm going to switch over to Tesla because I haven't talked about this for quite some time. Tesla, in my opinion, it's still relatively strong. It's trying to push higher, but we have some tight resistance coming up at this 250 area. Tesla's fighting that right now. We'll see if this could break. We're at resistance. We'll see if Tesla could break this because we did push up higher. If we break 250, I think Tesla has room to push up to 255. If it breaks that, 257 is coming, followed by 260. If we fail to break 250, it could retrace towards 247 as next support and then 245. That's what's going to be the tight resistance because we pushed even higher during the pre-market. So I was talking about this thing like pushing up more yesterday. It did push more. We were at 247, now we're at 250. And we're going to be watching to see if Tesla could break this. I still think it could. But let's see if it can break 250. If it does so, it's going to push up to these higher levels and doesn't have that much resistance until like 255. All right. So there is some minor resistance right here. Let me just show you where it is. Technically, 252 has some resistance, but it's not that strong. It's very minor. And the real resistance is going to be coming around 255. So if we do break 250, it's going to push up more. As of right now, it hasn't done that. So we'll have to see if it could do it. But there is definitely potential for it to try to do so. So watch and see if we break 250. If it does so, it could start pushing higher. On Apple stock, Apple got another push to the upside, but it was very minor. We're still at like 191. If it pushes a bit higher, I don't really expect much to happen to it because it's still just another shorting opportunity. Like I said before, we have the quadruple bearish divergence on Apple. It's starting to play out, and we might just be establishing a lower high. Right, we could push a little bit more. I don't see us going up to 193, and I think it's just going to come back down to 188 and eventually break below that. So I anticipate some downside. We could push for 191, maybe even 192.5 eventually. But I think that even if Apple pushes a bit more, it's going to eventually come down starting in December. I think that there's going to be a pivot coming. And then finally for Nvda, I was talking about Nvidia retesting 483 yesterday. That's where we're currently at. Could go a little higher. We could see 485, right? We could go a tiny bit higher, maybe even 490. But I don't think that Nvidia is going to last at these high levels. I think that there's going to be some potential downside for Nvidia in the markets. And we also have this gap from the pre-market down here at 480. So watch 485. If we break this, we could push a little more towards this 490 zone. If we fail to break 485 and we reject, watch support at 482. If we end up losing that, then we have this gap down here to fill at 477. I personally think that Nvidia could hold up for a little bit of time, but it might just be forming a flag now if it does end up doing so. So we're going to be watching to see if that's the case. I think it's going to be retesting, try to get back to 485. We'll see if that breaks. But don't forget that later on, the market may shift, and this may have a negative effect on Nvidia starting December 1st. So watch 485. If we break this, we could get very close to 490. We'll see if it rejects from here. We have a gap down here to fill, which is going to likely get filled. So either it pops and then drops, or it pushes a little bit more and then it drops later. That's what I'm anticipating for Nvidia. All right, guys, so that's what I have for this one. Thank you all so much for listening. Hopefully this video was helpful. Could the market push more? Yes, it can. It could push more tomorrow as we have PCE. But once again, guys, I do not fully trust this rally. I don't think it's sustainable. I think there's going to be a big shift to the downside starting around December 1st or so, especially going into next week. That's when I think we're really going to see it. All right, that's my opinion. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.